28 June 2020, Global Time editor said even if India boycott Chinese product, they will never get a better alternative. To which Anand Mahindra replied, challenge accepted. और अगर हमें challenge जीतना है तो before knowing about the how, we should be clear about the why. Because if you are boycotting China only because of border clash, then it's an emotional boycott. We came up with boycott China movement multiple times in the past. Every single time we failed. It was because we were mainly motivated by emotions, or emotions ज़्यादा टिकते नहीं. So in this video, let me give you a why. Let's start with the apps. Chinese apps are the worst when it comes to your data privacy and security. In 2017, Indian intelligence service listed 42 Chinese apps as spyware or malware. Fast forward to 2020, the intelligence service again asked the government to block those apps, and both of the time for the same reason: privacy. Risk of extracting huge amount of data out of country and potential to launch cyber attack against India. लेकिन अब तो चाइनीज एप्स बैन हो गई, तो उसके बारे में सुनने से क्या मतलब? सुनना जरूरी है क्योंकि फर्स्ट फ्यूचर में और चाइनीज एप्स आएगी, और सेकंड आपने तो बस एक ट्रेलर देखा. An independent survey in 2019 found that Chinese apps took 45% more permission than any other global apps. For example, Beauty Plus and UC Plus accessing your contact even when it's not required. In 2014, Xiaomi was accused of transferring its users' data to servers located in China. Eascan, a security company, released a report alleging multiple flaws in Xiaomi's smartphones affecting users' data. Then again in 2020, folks found out that Xiaomi tracked every single activity of users on his phone, hacked all of the data, and sent it to remote servers in Russia and Singapore, even though the domain was registered in Beijing. In 2017, Indian Army personnel were asked to uninstall Chinese apps from their phone. Indian Air Force warned officers against using devices made in China. US Army banned TikTok, US Navy banned TikTok, Australian Army banned TikTok. इससे एक बात याद आई. Let's talk about everyone's favorite app, TikTok. A lawsuit was filed in California's federal court against TikTok for illegally and secretly harvesting vast amount of user data and sending it to China. And surprise, surprise, TikTok admitted it. It also paid $5.7 million fine for gathering data of children under the age of 13. But what data precisely? The message you send and the app that you use, the site you visit, your search history, your keystroke pattern, location data, your IP address, your SIM card, and a heck lot more. Abhi, put it well. Turn off your GPS location. IOK City and Google Map won't even work. Set a different country in VPN and YouTube will show you the videos of that country. But even with both of these, TikTok will still show you local videos because it takes data from your SIM card. It uses HTTP, not HTTPS. You know how terrible that is? Apple red-handedly caught TikTok stealing content from its clipboard, to which TikTok said, nah, okay, we'll fix it. Wait a second. Even American app does that. Even they collect your data and send it back to USA. So both Chinese and American companies are doing the same thing, right? Wrong. Just think for a second. Why Indian intelligence service labels Chinese apps as spyware and malware? Why not American apps or any other country's app? Why it's always Chinese apps that are caught while security is surveyed? Let me explain. America is a democratic country where companies are independent, whereas China is ruled by communist regime, where every single thing is controlled by the government. American apps only take necessary permissions and can't access and be permitted. But Chinese apps not only access your data without your permission, they even collect hell lot more of data. But here is the biggest concern. China National Intelligence Law 2017. You see, American apps are not obliged to share data with the government. Even when they try to do so or share data with some unauthorized third-party app, they are busted and cautioned by Congress. Doesn't matter if you are the fourth richest person in the world. But according to this Chinese law, अगर कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी आपसे डेटा मांगती है, तो चाइना की किसी भी कंपनी को डेटा शेयर करना पड़ेगा. उनके पास कोई और चारा ही नहीं है. TikTok और Xiaomi भले ही बोल रहे कि वो डेटा शेयर नहीं करती चाइनीज गवर्नमेंट के साथ, लेकिन चाइनीज लॉ के सामने कोई नहीं टिकता. And that's the point. Whenever you use Chinese app, service or digital product, all the data is sent to China, shared with the government, and can be used against any country which they don't like. For example, cyber attack on Australia in 2013, on Canada in 2014, multiple time against USA, 40,000 cyber attack attempts in India after China-India tension, in June 2020, massive cyber attack on Australia, and all this time one accused, China. Okay, if you don't care about your data, still China is a big deal. Why? Let's have a look at China-India trade relation. We depend on China. India's export to China is $16 billion and import is at $68 billion. We are at $51 billion trade deficit. That's huge. India's 14% imports and 38% trade deficit is from China. You see how heavily we depend on them. But how this trade deficit is a problem? Let me take this moment to brief you about China. China is evil. Remember, when I say China, I don't mean the Chinese people, but the Chinese government. There is no freedom of speech. The government controls the entire media. You only see what government wants you to see. On internet, there is no freedom of expression either. Google, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and all open platforms are banned and they censor anything which goes against the government. The internet is entirely controlled. वहाँ के यूथ को ये भी नहीं पता कि तियाननमें स्क्वायर प्रोटेस्ट क्या था. इतना strict rule है वहाँ. You can't form trade union. The workers' life is hell. They must work as they are told and have no right to strike. When they does, they are detained. Equality to religious and ethnic minorities is a myth. From 1966 to 1976, because of cultural revolution, many religious buildings were looted or destroyed. In Tibet, 1.2 million Tibetans are killed. Over 6,000 monasteries are burned. They torture monks and murder them the moment they speak for their freedom. In Xinjiang, over 15,000 mosques are burned. About 2 million Uyghur Muslims are sent to detention camp. The people of Hong Kong can't get what they want. Democracy. The Chinese government is pure form of evil. But its evilness is not just limited inside the border. Trade. In 2001, when China joined World Trade Organization, it promised that it will liberalize and open up its market. 20 साल हो गए लेकिन मार्केट तो ज्यादा ओपन किया नहीं, लेकिन WTO का मिसयूज बुरी तरीके से किया. एक्सपोर्ट की बात आती है तो पूरी दुनिया में एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं, but when it comes to import, all major foreign companies are banned. और इसके ऊपर इन सब कंपनी की टैग चोरी करके इनकी कॉपी बना दी जो स्टेट स्पॉन्सर्ड है. Youku for YouTube, Alibaba for Amazon, Baidu for Google, Weibo for Facebook and Twitter. Intellectual property theft has been made easier in China. चाइनीज कंपनी किसी भी देश की नई टेक्नोलॉजी को कॉपी कर सकती है और वो कंपनी कंप्लेन भी नहीं कर सकती. किसको करेगी? चाइनीज गवर्नमेंट को. वो तो खुद सपोर्ट करती है. If you want to start your business in China, you must transfer your technology to Chinese company, or else
पहली फुर्सत में निकल.
Why do you think Chinese products are so cheap? Like your ex? Well, the main answer is dumping. In dumping strategy, if a local company is selling a product at 100 rupees, the Chinese company will sell it at 70 rupees. But how would that be possible? Chinese companies get export subsidies from the government, which enables them to sell product at much cheaper price than the local producer. और हम तो सबसे पहले price ही देखते हैं. And just like that, everyone buy Chinese product because they are cheaper, and local manufacturers go into bankruptcy, and boom, Chinese monopoly. और ये हो भी रहा है. The debt trap policy. China gives huge loan to countries on projects which are impossible to recover the cost, and when the country can't repay the loan, China takes over the strategic location of those countries. China took an entire island in Maldives, leased Hambantota port for 99 years, took over Kenya's Mombasa port, forced Zambia into selling its national electricity company entirely to China, built military base in Djibouti, and many more countries may follow the same, just because they can't repay China. But it doesn't end here. You see, India and many countries like it are either economically dependent or militarily weaker than China. In case of India, we are so economically dependent on China, we can't even raise our voice for Uyghur Muslims, Tibetans, Hong Kong democratic protesters, or can't even support Taiwan at any other international forum. And China knows this, and that's why it continues to be bully and be aggressive against its neighbors. Fun fact, China has 14 neighbors, but it claims territory of 19 countries. It claims Parcel Island and Gulf of Tonkin of Vietnam, Scarborough Shoal of Philippines, all Spratly Islands of Malaysia, Brunei, Taiwan, Vietnam and Philippines, Natuna Island of Indonesia, in East China Sea. It claims Ryukyu and Senkaku Islands of Japan, Baidu Mountain and Jiangdao region of North Korea, Lido Rock of South Korea. On good days, it claims both Korea and Mongolia on historical precedent of Yuan dynasty. It claims part of Laos and Cambodia also on historical precedent, but this time due to Ming dynasty. It unilaterally claims Russia's 160,000 square kilometer of land and 30,000 square kilometer land of Kazakhstan. It claims Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan on historical precedent of Qing dynasty. Badakhshan region of Afghanistan, occupied Indian region of Aksai Chin, claims Arunachal Pradesh and parts of Bhutan and Nepal. Few days back, China even claimed Mount Everest, and just day before yesterday, China claimed entire eastern Bhutan also on historical precedent. You know how bizarre is that? Alright, let's have a recap. China uses app as spyware and malware, which shares data with the Chinese government, launch cyber attacks on other countries, no freedom of expression, speech, press, controls the entire internet, anyone who posts dies, Tibetan Buddhists are killed, Uyghur Muslims sent to concentration camp, no democracy for Hong Kong, steal others' technology, restrict foreign companies, dump to destroy local industries, completely take over countries with debt trap, bullish neighbor, claim their lands, and still everyone trade with China. So let me ask you again, should we boycott China? वो आप खुद डिसाइड करो. But if your answer is yes, in the next 2 videos I will explain what me and you can do and what others are doing to achieve that. That's it for now. अगर आपको मेरा फैक्ट बेस्ड वीडियो पसंद आया तो प्लीज लाइक एंड शेयर विद योर फ्रेंड्स. और अब आपसे कोई ये पूछे कि क्या चैनल को बॉयकॉट करना जरूरी है, you have the answer. Namaste.